Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Alundra. On this episode, we'll be taking the fight to the Merg for hopefully the last time as we walk in basically the vestibule through the front door of the Great Tree. We'll kill these monkeys and check out what's up with that door. Now, unfortunately, despite the fact this is supposed to be the final leg of the dungeon, our progress is going to be pretty short-lived because this very first locked door in this main part of the dungeon is inaccessible through any of the conventional keys found in the game. Now, you may recall, possibly, because there's been a long hiatus between episodes right now, that in the last episode we saved a locksmith, a keysmith, from being kidnapped by the Merg for no particular reason. I mean, I don't even know why he'd be here. But he is. He's not an Inoa inhabitant. He doesn't have a name, so he's obviously just here to help us solve these puzzles and get through these doors. So might as well take advantage of that. See, he's right here in this little shed in the corner of the jungle. I mean, I assume, since it was 6 months since the last episode, I like to pretend like he was just hiding out there the whole time with these little provisions in these pots. See, it's got life. It must have been what he was using just to survive all this time. But he is certainly perfectly willing to repay his life debt to us and go unlock that door, so let's go back. Now, of course, we know that this is a game with respawning enemies, so of course, as soon as we go in the front door, they will in fact be the exact same Merg that we just killed. Now, it's actually kind of an aspect I find very frustrating about this dungeon, that we've been through so much just to get to this point. There's still a lot of backtracking left to be done in what remains of the dungeon itself. You'll notice, so you can talk to the guy and he'll tell you that he requires you to kill all the Merg before he even attempts to unlock the door for you, so you have to kill all these enemies a second time. You actually have to look at the door to even trigger the event flag where he's willing to help you. So this is, in fact, no matter what you do, going to be your second trip into this front hallway. So here we go. He'll unlock the door for us, hopefully. I don't know why we have to walk him hands in hand to the door itself. I think he can figure it out. And there's a Ritalin reference because, you know, it's a Working Designs game, so yeah. But it doesn't matter. The door is now open, and he's going to go wander off and drop us a brief hint that we will in fact be seeing him once again before this dungeon is over, which means yet more backtracking, so stay tuned for that. I mean, but in terms of actual progress, we can head up this little elevator here to the next floor. Generally speaking, this dungeon in general, each floor is split into left halves and right halves, and there's the walkway on the outside, which we can see when the camera panned over the entire dungeon. From the outer walkways, the left and the right halves are always separated for every floor. Sometimes you can drop down from one floor to the next. But in general, if you have to go back to the left, starting on the right, all the doors to all the paths that we can unlock to floors we previously visited will be on the right side. Which means anytime we have to get back to the left, we'll have to backtrack basically through the whole dungeon. We're going to see that a little bit later on. So here we are on the second floor. If we head over here to the right, we will get one of those doors to before, so to speak. First, we're going to pick up this chest, which contains this dungeon's Gilded Falcon. That'll put us in the mid-40s. I believe it's number 44, which leaves us 6 to get, 2 of which are in the casino area. And we'll hit the switch, which will allow us access to a ladder straight down to the ground floor, which will be extremely helpful as we continue to revisit areas that we've previously seen in this tree many, many, many times. Let's check this door, and I believe this is one such area right now. We're going to see this 3 times in this video alone, this one room here. We're not going to go on the moving platform. I'm going to drop down this hole because it allows us to pick up this life vessel, obviously very important. Thankfully, even though this is a very long dungeon, there's quite a few life vessels, which allows you a lot of free life fill-ups without having to go all the way back to a save point. That's the jail, I believe, that we rescued the keysmith from. Now we basically have to make our way back to that exact same room. There are 2 paths you can take. You can go up the ladder that we previously unlocked, or you can go in the front door and back the way we came. We will take the ladder because it's a little bit faster, and we'll show off just a path in a direction that we haven't seen so far in any of these videos, so, you know, might as well do that. I actually find traversing the tree dungeon really frustrating because Alundra tends to get hung up on the corners a lot, which makes all the backtracking even more painful. Anyway, there's a boomerang guy and a bow guy, but if you just stand on the platform and don't actually bother to face or fight either of them, they can't actually hit you because they haven't learned the age-old Space Invaders tactic of aiming where you're headed and not where you actually are. So, you know, whatever. Those 2 chests contain consumable items, so we're not going to bother picking them up. We'll show you how to get them in a little bit once we unlock that pathway. We'll kill these Archer Merg. Again, nothing too unusual, this ridiculous amount of monkeys to fight in this dungeon. Unfortunately, this point at about 6 minutes through where there's a big break in the recording, so in the meantime, between those 6 months, I got a lot worse at fighting them. You can tell because I take in the second half of this video, a lot more hits, but we'll get to that when we come to it. That barrel is what you're supposed to use to access the 2 chests we saw on the east side of the floor. But again, it's nothing we need because we're still totally full on items. What we need to do is bomb this little floor area here. The stairs will be taken a little bit later. They head up to a locked door that we don't have the key for. The only actual conventional locked door remaining in the dungeon that won't be unlocked by the keysmith. These 4 chests also contain arbitrary consumables. We'll just kill these 2 things so we don't have to worry about them later. I mean, they freak me out. They do follow you pretty far. They're really fast, so I really don't want to have to deal with them later. Again, more monkeys. We do have to kill them to allow this platform to drop so we can get up on these platforms here, and of course some more mundane platforming. Wouldn't be an Alundra dungeon without some slightly awkward platforming. I'm not actually entirely certain how to avoid these little spike balls here. I think you can jump down, straight down, but I chose just to tank the hit. And part of the reason I did this is because, so hitting that switch unlocked the door to the east, but if you head to the south, you can reach this chest containing the 45th light vessel, which means it doesn't matter if we took any hits from the spike balls, because we can immediately refill our health from that chest right there. So we'll head back in and check out the doorway unlocked, because, you know, progress is important. It would be nice to think we'll get to the end of this game someday. I mean, based on my recent progress, I would say I'll finish the LP, in about 3 years, I would think. Don't need to bother with the Merg, you can just head up these stairs and fight more Merg, so it's not like... I wouldn't want you to feel like you're getting deprived of more monkey fights, or, you know, as many monkeys as you saw on the screen. Another hole to drop down, and this will bring us to the 1 conventional key in the dungeon. Pretty easy to get to. So let's backtrack again to the 1 door. I believe we'll open this chest because it's here, but it's just herbs, so we can't even carry them. I'm going to head back to that room with the moving platform in a little bit. Yes, here we go. So we're here now for the 3rd time. I know, it never gets old, does it? Again, these enemies still can't hit you at all. We head up here to the north, the other door that was unlocked. We hit that switch, and now we can head up the staircase in the corner of this room that we saw previously. Thankfully, that cliffhanger was resolved pretty quickly. I love that. I love that when enemies hit you while you're holding a pot, because it drops the pot directly on their head, basically forces them to commit suicide. Yeah, the game doesn't even give you, like, cutscenes anymore when you get locked in a room with the Merg. They don't even give you dialogue, because, like, even the game is sick of all these, like, identical encounters with the same monkeys over and over again. It's like no one bothered to write, you know, a unique encounter script for them. So this is about where I broke off and started re-recording again, so I guess I'm a little rusty with my platforming mechanics. I sort of forgot what I was supposed to do. You're supposed to hit that switch, and then wait for the ball to retract just a little bit, and you have basically just a second or 2 to get on that platform before it disappears. So we'll try again, except I forgot to wait for the ball to go away. I just assumed, based on the perspective, that you could jump straight to it. Now I'm going to hit it again, but I can't even make the jump because the ball's in the way, period, and I think I finally caught on. There we go, good job. I'm proud of myself. So now we can proceed to the north and head down here, and this will allow us to basically access the left side of this floor, which we hadn't actually looked at yet. But first, so this is not the door that needs to be unlocked. It looks like a locked door, but it's actually a puzzle door. You're supposed to, there's going to be exactly one Merg appearing on each of these platforms, and I don't think they ever come down. I don't think they're scripted to do that. You can throw bombs up there, which is kind of satisfying, because I mean, these guys are just so freaking obnoxious at this point. But it's faster, since we have Fiend Blade, just to hit them conventionally by jumping and slashing. Yeah, it only takes 2 hits. Thankfully, we picked up that weapon upgrade. So yeah, there's 5 of them, 1 on each platform. Kill them all, and here we go. So now we're going to go to this little shed all the way in the northwest corner of the tree on the 2nd highest floor. And now we can access it because we picked up the key a little while ago. Inside, of course, this is, I guess, important enough that we get some dialogue from the monkeys about how we're going to get smashed into fillets, I think. I don't know. I don't even question word usage from Working Designs anymore. It's not worth the time. So yeah, I guess I got a little sloppy with my monkey fighting. But, at least in the middle of the dungeon, they gave me a lot of extra health, so I guess it was okay. So this is not a conventional key, this is an elevator key. It's basically this game's equivalent of the Nightmare Key, if you're familiar with standard Zelda dungeons these days. It will unlock the door that leads directly to the main boss. So let's go use that. Let's go make the best of it. The fastest way to get back to where we need to go is basically to drop down to the bottom and just walk back up through either through the tower itself or through the ladders that we opened to the right-hand side. I will take a moment to show off something that I sort of missed on my first path through a given room, so I'll take another trip through this sort of semi the long way without skipping, just to show it off. You may recall there was a room where we hit one pillar, basically some very standard Zelda puzzle solving. There were also these other pillars, which look pretty mundane. There's some corners, but they're actually, without any real indication, merg generators. If you kill these monkeys, one will immediately spawn on top of the pillar, no matter how many times you do that. There's no prize to be won by killing a lot of them, like in that one room where there were like 8 million slimes. It's just a merg generator. So we'll squeeze this key in the keyhole, but it's apparently just a bit too big to fit. I'm surprised there aren't like some penis references based on the standard working design sense of humor. And on top of that, they're not even being subtle anymore, but the fact that you're basically just going to have to backtrack back to the keysmith one more time to have him solve this puzzle for you too. Now, we're not, thankfully, going to have to escort him all the way back up the tree fighting all the merg just to get him to fix this for us. All we need to have him do is repair the key. Now, just to be twice as obnoxious, he's not in the same place he was before. He's moved to a different safe house, this little room over here. So you may have wondered why in some of these rooms we just never visited. This is why, because they only exist as basically places for us to backtrack to so that we can unlock doors later in the dungeon. So here we are. Something's wrong with our key. I guess that's the closest we get to real innuendo in this little sort of sub-quest. And on top of that, he made the key a little smaller so it fits properly in the hole. Now, there's a really funny line when you actually try to use it. Or funny in the sense that it's weird and inappropriate, like every other line in this translation that I've called out so far. So let's head back up to pick up some health. I really do need it. I mean, not that badly. Spoiler alert, Zazan, the boss of this dungeon, is not very difficult. He can't do very much damage to us because we have basically fully upgraded equipment, or at least the most upgraded possible for this point in the game. So he's not really a threat. So, plus we have two magic crystals left, which gives us 2 uses of the water magic, so we can refill our health completely twice. So, no worries. So yeah, Butta. That's the only thing I wanted to call out. The fact that they spelled Butta with an AH instead of an ER. That's really bizarre. So there's the elevator. I mean, we assumed it's an elevator key, right? So it must unlock an elevator. Here's the elevator. Yeah, whatever. Fine, monkeys. Just... I'm so done with you right now. So yeah, the only reason I pointed out that Zazan is not very challenging or not very intimidating as a boss is because I took a lot of damage in this little fight here. Like, I didn't even care anymore. I'm so sick of fighting these guys over and over and over again. Sorry about that. I guess it looks a little sloppy. So we'll check these spots for some health, and then head out the door to the top floor of the tree, and up to the boss arena. Let us climb these last 2 ladders, and we'll come face to face, finally, with Zazan. I'm going to check over here just to make sure, just to show there's absolutely nothing to be acquired. There's no extra chests, considering every other floor had either a Gilded Falcon or a life vessel on it, or some kind of switch to hit. So here we are. So, at least in my opinion, the best way to take out this guy is to simply use the charge attack of the Fiend Blade. Now, the tricky part of this fight is that if you recall from the very first time we saw him, he has a spinning move. They used the animation when we first saw him in the mines, and he used it to dig his way out. He's in fact completely invulnerable when he's doing this, but his hitbox is really small. Like, you can get hit by his fists, and they won't do any damage whatsoever. But unfortunately, you can't do any damage to him. As you can see, I tried to use the shield attack from the ice magic, but I think it actually is scripted so that if you try to use it on magic, and he's not already in an attack animation, he will immediately go into a spinning animation, so you can't actually hit him with it. The best time to hit him is when he's in the middle, basically after doing the spinning attack, but before he starts throwing rocks at you. The rocks, of course, are really easy to avoid, just moving. And there are 2 different kinds of spinning attacks, both of which, again, are also very easy to avoid. One of which is fast, which you just saw, where he goes in random directions and rebounds off the sides, and one where he follows you very slowly. Now, he also, when he follows you, stops from time to time, which fools you into thinking that he's about to stop the attack. It's almost like a feint, which is actually kind of clever, I think. I'm not sure if it's intentional or not, or if the programming for, like, the tracking is just really shoddy. Like, right there, see? He stops, but then he starts again. That's not actually a new instance of the spinning attack. It just is really weird tracking. But yeah, the best time to hit him again is when he throws the boulders. It only takes about 12, I think, charged hits to kill him, maybe 13. We do get a shot in with the magic, spoiler alert, near the end of the fight. I think other than that, it takes me about 11 Fiend Blade hits. There we go. So when he's down to a quarter health, he will call 4 Murg into the fight, but they're not very aggressive, as we've seen before, and they're not really anywhere close to where you would fight in conventionally. They're just kind of like obstacles. So the only time it's actually a problem is if you get cornered by him and the little Murg running around. See, right there. Like this. So this is why I use I switched to the Earth Magic, because it's better for crowd control. In fact, it'll kill the Murg really easily. Supposedly, he can call up to 7 total Murg in the fight, and then it actually might get a little bit difficult. But right now, he doesn't actually use that attack. I mean, I think he's only got 1 hit left, so if he did use that attack, it would give us basically the perfect opening to end the fight. So I'm actually kind of hoping he would call more Murg in. Like, I can deal with that one guy running around. I'm sure he'd just die incidentally from enough charge attacks. Oh yeah, and the one in the corner. He is, in fact, just 1 hit away from dying. I'm just showing this off because it illustrates how aggravating this freaking fight is. You know, a lot of the time he'll just spam that spinning attack over and over and over again, and then you have very, very, very little time to actually hit him, you know, in between instances. So whatever, we got him. Not that bad, all things considered. We took a little bit of damage, but we didn't even have to use an item. That's usually my sort of scale for what determines whether or not a boss fight was successful, is whether or not I came in with the same number of consumables. So our reward, of course, is not a meeting with a wise man. It's just the last 2 crates, the crests, the 2nd and 4th ones, giving us the 5 in total we're supposed to have. So let's go ahead and pick those up. The Agate crest and the Garnet crest, and we'll head back to Anoa Village to see what our next objective is. So we'll see that in the next episode of Let's Play Alundra. I will see you then.